Hi there guys, welcome back. Today I'll be doing the next part for What If Tarble Went to Earth with Goku. Now last time we covered everyone training under Master Roshi and preparing for the tournament, and before that we had the group making a wish under the Dragon Balls, stopping PL from taking over the world. But now the group of turtle students heading off to the tournament ground, and like normal they do get their new uniform. Tarble doesn't unfortunately get a new uniform, mostly because I only had one commission made of Tarble, not knowing how well this What If would do. Thank you very much, Rudimentary Cards, super sick art, check him out. Sorry if I said your name wrong as well. Now the first thing I want to cover is actually that Roshi doesn't enter as Jackie-chun, as his students are stronger than him, and they also seem motivated to overtake Tarble, and Tarble's motivated to stay ahead of the group. So the four are actually increasing each other. And also, they're going to continue to become nice and strong, so he doesn't see any point of himself entering. Now, explaining the tournament is going to be quite easy, and I'm going to try and rush through everything because it's going to be quite simple. Now, the preliminary rounds are pretty easy. It's a pretty easy sweep for everyone, and they're not really having to try to beat anyone. And the interesting part is going to be the matchups. Now, for this, I put everyone's name into a tournament generator thing, and this was the outcome. First off, we have Girin versus Namu, Bacteria versus Krillin, Enma versus Ranfan, Yamcha versus Goku. They're the first few rounds. This should be interesting, and I want to get into this, and I want to get through it fast. Now, first up is Girin versus Namu, and I actually just want to get this one over and done with fast, but I'll give you a quick idea. Namu, I believe, would get this victory, mostly because he went toe-to-toe with Goku for a little bit. Whether Goku was holding back, I don't really remember. I am reading through the original DB manga, that's why these parts are taking a little bit for me to get out, but I don't remember him saying anything about holding back, so I believe that Namu does actually have the ability. However, I think it would be a close fight. Girin has the ability to stay in the ring and would be pretty hard to knock out, but like I said, Namu wins this round. Next is Krillin versus Bacteria, which goes much easier than it does in canon. Krillin, remember, he doesn't have a nose, and after that just one punches Bacteria, knocking him out. Enma versus Ranfan is another not really interesting one, as Ranfan's tactics don't really work on Enma, as he wouldn't pick up on them fully, and even when she gets undressed, he just ignores it and takes her down. Now, next fun fight is Yamcha versus Goku, and this fight is probably one of the most interesting ones of the first few rounds, as Yamcha and Goku would see this as a good way to test each other out and have a fun fight, and see who's benefited the most from Roshi's training, with the pair being evenly matched for a while, and then Goku starts fighting more seriously, and unfortunately Yamcha can't keep up with the Saiyans, so he's out on the first round but did well. So the next matches are Krillin versus Namu and Enma versus Goku. Krillin vs Namu is a good fight, but Krillin does have the upper hand quite heavily throughout the whole fight, and does win with the three remaining turtle students saying that whoever wins will give him some of the money so he can buy his village some water, which makes Namu respect the turtle school a lot. And this isn't out of character for Goku or Krillin, as they like helping other people out, and Enma is a kind soul, so of course he will help. Now, Goku vs Enma, so this is the round where the two brothers meet. They're finally ready to fight, and they get ready to fight each other and share some good blows with one another. However, Goku does know that his brother is holding back. After years of training with him, he just sort of looks over to his brother and asks him to go all out for a change. Enma, who's wanted to have a good fight with his brother, agrees, and they go for a final hit, and in the end, with the pair landing a punch on each other. However, Goku is the one to fall, making Enma the winner of this round. Goku stands up, they share a bow, they give each other a hug, and then Goku tells him to beat Krillin up in the next round, and the two share a big goofy smile with each other. So the finals is Krillin versus Enma. This is also a fun fight to watch, as I believe Enma would want to have fun with his friend, and during this fight he holds back like he did with Goku. However, the turtle student also knows that he's holding back and asks him to go all out. This is a much quicker match than Goku versus Enma, but I believe it's still a fun fight. And in the end, Enma is the winner, and the group congratulate him, and they decide to go out to a nearby restaurant to party. Former offers to pay everything for the group, and this makes everyone really happy. But before the group leave, the three turtle students walk over and give half of their money they earned to Namu, with him thanking them greatly, and for the most part things here go like they did in canon, with Goku and Enma actually deciding they want to go look for their granddad's Dragon Ball, and ask Bulma if they can take the Dragon Radar. And now things are going to be starting to have to go real fast. This is an arc I don't remember much of, but as I said, I'm reading through it, so let's see how well I remember it. Now the run-in with Colonel Silver goes the same. They still find a Dragon Ball, they still try to escape, Nimbus gets shot, the group then have to take down Colonel Silver with Goku quickly sweeping him. Like normal, they take a plane to Muscle Tower, they crash. Like normal, Suno finds them. However, this time Emma is still up and able to walk because his brother took a lot of the damage for him. Not that they're hurt, it's just something worth mentioning. But here's the interesting part for this little bit. While walking back to Suno's house, Emma carries Goku for her, and the two get to know each other, and through a little bit of talking, Suno soon learns that they're out looking for their grandfather's Dragon Ball, and how Emma just recently won a World Martial Arts tournament. This shocks the young girl, but she doesn't really say much of it, and she actually thinks Emma's pretty cool. Like normal, they all arrive at her house with the unconscious Goku, who's still trying to wake up. Now, this is like I said, this is probably one of the more interesting parts. Emma learns about what's happening at Muscle Tower and has become good friends with Suno. And what he says that once his brother wakes up, they'll go sort out the Red Ribbon army. Now, when Goku does get up, it doesn't take them long to get to Muscle Tower, with it being very easy. Goku takes care of Metal Jacket with ease. Next is Ninja Murasaki, sorry if I said that wrong, which goes very easy with Emma kicking him in the face, knocking him out. Comes to the fighting stage of his whatever it was. Next up is their encounter with Android 8. They let him free, and he offers to help the boy take down the rest of Muscle Tower and actually takes them through the maze. Like normal, they drop into a dungeon, and the fight with the Jiggler is very easy. You don't know how many times I messed up his name, it's so stupid. And the boys quickly make quick work of the monster. Now, when they head up into the room to fight General White, they knock him out in one hit as well. They save the mayor, nothing interesting happens. However, when they celebrate back at Suno's house, everyone thanks the boys for helping them take care of the Muscle Tower, with Suno thanking Emma for keeping his promise, with him not noticing the fact the girl has developed somewhat of a crush for him. Unlike normal, 8-Man actually gives the 2-star Dragon Ball, but unlike normal, the radar is perfectly fine and isn't broken at all, so the Saiyan brothers don't need to waste any time going to Bulma, so they head off on the Nimbus. The next day with Suno asking Emma if they will be able to meet up again at some point, with Emma actually saying that she should come watch him during the next World Martial Arts tournament. He would love to see her there. So the two make good time on Nimbus, and like I said earlier, the Dragon radar isn't broke like normal, so they don't actually have to go head to meet Bulma. So when they're flying, they realise the next Dragon Ball they want to go collect is actually underwater. Both try to make an attempt to get to where the Dragon Ball could be, however they can't even get close enough to it. Enma, remembering that Master Roshi actually lives nearby and thinking that maybe he's got a way to get down there, tells Goku that they should both go over and see him. Now, they do go and see him, and like normal, Roshi lets the two borrow the ship, with Krillin driving it. This pretty much goes like it does in canon, without Bulma being there, and Krillin does help the two like I managed, and there's no real interesting changes. The fight with the robot is handled by Goku with much more ease than in canon. When General Blue gets up to fight the group, Krillin steps up and knocks him out. It's a very fast fight, and this lets the boys escape. And the Red Ribbon Army don't really have a chance to even find the Dragon Balls. The boys still find a Dragon Ball, like normal. And unlike normal, General Blue doesn't actually follow the group, as he got knocked out by Krillin, and when the cave was collapsing, General Blue didn't make it out of the cave, let's just say it like this. Now, everything leading up to the Mercenary Tower fight goes like it did in canon, with the exception being that the group never go to Penguin Village, and the Red Ribbon Army never get their hands on a Dragon radar, so it's actually going in the favour of the Z Fighters at the moment. Now, when arriving at the sacred land of Korin's Tower, or I think that's its name, the first interaction between Goku and Upa go completely the same, with Enma still being there. Now, like normal, these two tribesmen have the 4-star ball, which Goku's happy to see. However, whenever Mercenary Tao shows up, it doesn't really pose a threat for the boys. Keep in mind, at this point, the boys are probably much stronger than him, and Tao doesn't even really get a chance to even fight Upa's dad. Both boys get into a fighting position, and Tao sort of laughs at this. However, he does also get ready in a fighting stance himself. Now, Enma is the person who wins the argument to go up and fight Mercenary Tao, and for the most part, he holds back quite severely, and it's quite a good fight to watch. Enma is very easily got the upper hand, as he can overpower the assassin at any moment. However, Enma does pay the assassin a bit of a compliment, saying he's probably one of the strongest people he's ever fought, and he's probably stronger than some of his friends over at Turtle School, but he's still weaker than his brother over there, and that means you're weaker than me. Enma then quickly drops underneath one of Tao's attacks. While under him, he gives him a big donkey kick straight to the stomach, sending the mercenary flying backwards. Enma, letting out his full power, moves at the fastest speed he can, and suddenly appears behind the mercenary, landing a big hammer arm into the back of him, knocking the mercenary into the ground and knocking him out. When this happens, he just sort of laughs and sort of rubs his head. He had to break a little bit of a sweat, but he had fun doing it. Upa and his father are very impressed by the boys, and like normal, they had already given them the Dragon Balls, but say they should go and train under the master up in the tower. He's apparently super strong and can probably teach them some things. So, like normal, they do actually begin to climb this tower, and before they left, they did make sure to send Mercenary Tao far away from the group. Probably just chucked him or walked him away quite far, just to make sure that he wouldn't cause any issues. Now, it probably doesn't take them too long to climb the tower. It probably only takes them maybe an hour or two. It's very fast. Corin is surprised to see how fast the boys made it up here, and does agree to let them train under him. Now, Corin, even though he's probably weaker than the boys, is actually still a bit of an issue to try and get the sacred water off. Yeah, even though he is severely outmatched here, he does manage to just about avoid them for the day. Now, I only say a day because I can't imagine it taking them too long to actually get hold of the sacred water. And they did learn to soon copy how he moves, like Goku did in canon. It just took him a little bit of less time, and also not as much practice because they are much faster than him anyway. So after this, they do get to drink it, but they are already a bit stronger. I'm not going to give them a massive increase, I'll just round it up a little bit, being Enma going up to 520 and Goku going up to 260, meaning they're both still about the same distance in strength, but they definitely got a little bit of an increase from it. Now, they don't actually have to go look for the rest of the Dragon Balls at this point, as Upa's father managed to survive. However, I believe that Enma has probably seen how bad these guys are, and after all, they did just attack an innocent group of people, and also thinking back of what happened to Suno's village, he probably decides that he wants to deal with the rest of the army. Goku, who is looking forward to doing it, obviously agrees, and the two head off to take down the rest of the army. Now, upon arrival, the two begin to actually start taking down the Red Ribbon army really easily, and this pretty much goes like it would in canon, with just a lot more ease. And also, like normal, the rest of the group would try and come over to help Goku and Enma. However, they are very much not needed here, and they are never really in a situation where they would need backup, and the two Saiyan brothers are pretty confident that if they could do this single-handedly by themselves. However, it just makes it a bit easier for them to take down the whole army now. Now, like normal, the two do manage to get 2 more of the Dragon Balls, leaving just 1 ball left, and also have put the Red Ribbon in a place where they could never rebuild, well, at least to their thoughts. Now, because they're 1 ball short, they think that it might be a good idea to go collect the last one. So they try and find it on the Dragon Radar and notice that it's not fine. They just can't find it anywhere. And they decide that maybe it might have been broken during the combat and they should head to Bulma. So they decide to leave, and on their way of leaving the place, they actually notice Bulma is there with Yamcha, Krillin, Master Roshi, Launch. They're all there. They land and explain what the issue is, and Bulma explains that it could be interfered if it's been swallowed by a creature or something, or just disappeared, making the boys confused. And then the group asks, did they manage to take down the army, with the two saying, yeah, it was quite easy. This part goes like canon, and it all ends up leading towards where the tournament between Fortune Teller Baba and the Z Fighters happens. Now, I'll keep the first matchup the same with Krillin versus Dracula, I think his name is, and this point Krillin is just too strong for him. Probably because he's way faster than he was in canon, and also because he is just a lot stronger, meaning Dracula loses quite easily. Next up would be the Invisible Man, and he would actually give Krillin a very hard time. After all, you can't fight what you can't see. However, like in canon, he has the same idea as what Yamcha did, which was to try and listen to where he was. Krillin actually manages to land 1 hit on him, and that knocks him out of the ring because they see a splash on the floor in the water area. meaning the group are actually doing quite well. Now, when it comes to fighting the big mummy guy, he's actually at a bit of a disadvantage. The Invisible Man did quite a bit of damage to him, meaning he's quite tired, and he's now starting to realise that this mummy might be a bit stronger than he realised. Krillin has got a plan, however he's just going to have to put everything he's got into this. So Krillin uses his smaller size to dodge around the bigger mummy until he is out of the big guy's sight. And then when he's realised he's got the advantage of being behind him, he takes a pose and starts charging up a Kamehameha. He shoots it straight towards the mummy, and that takes him down with relative ease, putting the group at a very, very good advantage. However, Krillin is going to drop out at this point because he's very tired, and using the Kamehameha for the first time in combat has drained him quite a bit. So, like I said, Krillin's going to stand down from this next fight, and I'm going to put in Enma for the next contestant. Why have I put Enma in, him being the strongest and all? Well, I believe Master Roshi would warn them about the incoming threat of Devilman and how he's a two-time world martial arts champion. So the only way to fight fire is with fire, and Enma is a world martial arts champion, so he might as well be sent in himself. However, this fight goes very much like it did in canon, except it's more on the favour of Enma, as he is hundreds of times stronger than Goku was in canon. So even when he uses the Devil Beam, I think it's called, it doesn't do anything to affect Enma, and he just wins. And next up is my favourite fight of this, and having just recently read this over in the manga, I love this fight and I just want it to be how it was. Like normal, it is Gohan here, and the fight goes through pretty much like it did in canon, with Enma instead of Goku. Only difference is, like I said, Enma's a lot stronger than Goku, so the fight is actually yet again in Enma's favour quite heavily. It all goes down pretty much how it did in canon, with eventually Gohan having hold of Enma's tail. However, thanks to a little bit of training with Goku and just a small bit of adjustment, it's not as big as a weakness, and he can actually escape from it. And like that, Gohan does reveal his identity. Now, Enma begins to cry, and so does Goku, and they both rush him and give him a hug, and everyone is shocked to find out this is Grandpa Gohan. And from here, the interaction goes pretty much like it did in canon, with them finding out that the last Dragon Ball is in just some random car being the Peel-Off gang. They go over and grab it. This is pretty much like it did in canon, they just get the Dragon Ball back. However, they don't really have a wish for it, they just have the Dragon Balls, and being not naive, they don't let the Peel-Off gang keep the Dragon Balls. So it's pretty simple from here on out. And the next 3 years go by much like they did in canon, with Goku and Enma actually spending their time training with each other back at their old house. Yamcha and Krillin still train under Master Roshi, and everyone starts heading towards the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai. Now, this time it's going to be pretty different. I'm going to leave it just before the tournament. However, I want to give everyone the brackets of this tournament and just give you an idea of how it starts. So let me get into that real quick. Start with, let's just cover who makes it through to the actual tournament stage. With this being Yamcha, Krillin, Goku, Enma, Tien and Chaozu, Panput and Manwolf. These are all the competitors who have made it through. Now, I was going to get into detail of what the matchups are going to be for the next part. However, I'm going to leave it here, and I'm actually going to cover everyone's growth over the last 3 years, and also get into some details of who's actually here watching the tournament. Now, I'm going to cover who's here watching the tournament first, and then I'm going to jump back to everyone's growth. Now, first off, I just want to explain that Suno actually came to this Tenkaichi Budokai. She's not shown herself off yet, but she kept her word, and she's actually come with Android 8, who considered actually entering the tournament. But actually didn't in the end, because he's still afraid of fighting in a sense. However, he is there to support Enma and Goku. Now, the other people who are here are the normal group that are here, which would be Bulma, Oolong, Poir, Launch, and Roshi. Roshi hasn't entered as Jackie-chun, like he didn't enter last time, so he's there just to support his students. Now, to get into everyone's growth, I'm going to quickly cover this, then I'm going to end this part. Right, so let's get into this. Now, this is over the 3 years that they had to train. Enma, last time we saw him, had a power level of 520 thanks to his little bit of training with Korin. And now he's probably jumped up to 560. He saw very little increase as he took it quite easy the last 3 years. And his interest for fighting has become a little bit less. He's getting a little cocky now, after all. he's the strongest person he's ever come across, and anytime he would train with his brother, he took it quite easy. Next up would be Goku, who had a power level of 260 thanks to Korin, and he's now pushed up to 350. He's trained very hard to try and catch up with his brother, and in his own defence, he is trying to make up a lot of ground, and he has made up a big chunk of it, and isn't that much distance between them anymore. Yamcha had a good set of training the second time round with the Turtle Hermit, and it's helped him gain a much better fighting shape. He's gone from a power level of 120 to 170. It's not a massive increase, but he's slowly gaining some ground. Krillin had a power level of 140 at the start of his 3 years of training, and I've put him at 180, putting him on level pegging with Tien, and he could have given Goku before the 3 years of training a good run for his money. However, Goku was really training these last 3 years, and it has made the gap significantly bigger. Tien, like Cannon, has a power level of 180, and Chaozu, like Cannon, has a power level of 130, and this is everyone's power levels before I get into this tournament, and this is the end of this part. I just want to say I hope everyone enjoyed, I hope everyone's looking forward to the tournament, and I hope you all have a great day or a good night. See you next time.